Morning, everybody. It's 8:10 a.m. It is November 17th. Welcome, welcome to my channel. Um, this market's kind of going sideways. It's kind of consolidating. So, kind of expected this as such a large move. We're balancing, moving sideways, and maybe queuing up for a little more push higher. You could also get a push lower to then go higher. So that's what's going on in this market. Right now, the Qs almost hit the all-time high pre-market they did, but they're taking a little break. XLK believes at all-time highs. Um, so that's what's going on in the market right now. Now today we have OPEX. We have options expiration today. Okay, so monthly options expirations today. So usually, generally, what happens with that, you get some volatility in the morning, and then sometimes, not all the time, but you get this pinning effect in stocks. Okay, you get pinning effect, which means like anything that has um, large gamma tends to pin at those large gamma levels. Okay, that happens a decent amount of times. I've seen it happen, and it kind of fools you a little bit. But like by the end of the day, a lot of stocks will pin to these big gamma levels. So maybe we'll look at one of those stocks today and see today what level I show you guys and maybe where it closes today. If that happens, it doesn't always happen. Okay. Anyway, without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. Use volume profile, market profile to find structure in this market. We use supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. All the fine structure, right? Because you want to just see from a macro kind of point of view what the market's doing, right? Just like a foundation of a house, but how's a good foundation? Market could move higher. If it doesn't, it's susceptible to fall down, right? So that's what you want to see. And you always want to look at it like an if-then scenario. That's how I look at the market. I don't want to sit here and predict and put a flag in the ground. I've said this before, kind of like flow like water with the market. So if it does this and breaks this level and holds, then you know that will determine what I'm going to do, right? So that's kind of how I look at the market. Anyway, hopefully you can subscribe and set an alert. That would be great. Also, if you like my content, you can give me a thumbs up. All right, and you can always follow me on social media at x at gonzo719. Okay, so we're going to get right into the watch list. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so Bitcoin's leading the pack today, up 1.71%. Crude's getting beaten down. Finally getting a little relief, up 1.33% at $74 a barrel. The Russell, I got my eyes on that Russell. Okay, so that's up 1.21%. Had a pullback yesterday. Hit the 200-day moving average the other day, pulled back. I'm really interested in the Russell. Okay, that's been beaten down. Silver's up 0.95. Ether's up 0.66. 30-year bonds are being bought again. Okay, TNX at that support level that I've been talking about, 4.44. Okay, that's at a critical level. All right, 30 year. The Dow's up 0.36. ES is up 0.34. ES is currently gapping higher. Okay, gold again almost at 2K. It keeps teasing that 2K. Keeps teasing it. ES is up 0.34. Nasdaq's only up 0.13. So it's not as strong as the other indexes. TNX reports at 820. I would think that's going to go down with the 30-year bonds being bought. We'll have to see. That is a key support level. Okay, the dollar is down 0.3. Okay, I believe the yen is having a strong move. Okay, that's the second most weighted thing against the dollar. The basket of the dollar, how it's measured. So first is the euro, second is the yen, and the VIX. The VIX is down 3.35% at 13. All right, not a lot of fear in this market. Not a lot of fear. Okay, now let's move over to stocks I like to swing and day trade. Roblox. Roblox got an upgrade. Okay, Roblox is at closed yesterday at 38.36. It's around 39, let's say, right now. Okay, 39 is a huge gamma level. So that's one. I have to look back. We can look at that together. But 39 is a monster gamma level in Roblox. So let's look at that too to see if that pins around 39 today. All right. And generally, again, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't follow what I'm saying. Generally, what you want to do is you could throw a butterfly and do a spread, a butterfly around those strikes, and that's how you kind of want to play those. Um, Coin's up 0.91. So coin, very interesting. That has a large gamma level of 95. That hit 100 the day before yesterday. Okay, that's another large positive gamma level. So that those gamma levels are just huge. Okay. Boeing up 0.68. JP Morgan. All right. So let's go. Is there any laggards? Okay. We got Meta. I saw Meta's delaying some AI thing or something. Or that's Google, maybe. I think that's Google. Google's delaying their AI. Some kind of AI chip, I think. Don't quote me on that. Microsoft's down 0.2. Microsoft's just chugging along, all-time highs. Google down 0.31. Now, Baba's just been murdered. Jack Ma is saying he's selling shares. They're stopped the cloud spin-off with the chips, the U.S. curbs on chips. So just Baba's just they just got price target cut. Bunch of bad news on Baba. Okay. Top sector stocks. Okay. Exxon got an upgrade today. Okay, that is up 0.72, followed by Morgan Stanley, followed by Walmart. Okay. Walmart got a little beat down in earnings. It was basically at all-time highs. Okay. Chevron. Now, if you look at Chevron, I'm really interested in maybe nibbling a little bit on Chevron. Okay. It's kind of pulled back pretty nicely. Now, crude has pulled back pretty nicely as well. So, really want to watch those. Okay, so now I did see something like Apple wants to remove Qualcomm from its chips or something like that. I'm surprised that's not down a little bit. Maybe I misread the news, but I saw something about that. All right, and we don't have a laggard. Okay, and let's move on to sectors. All right, leader, energy. All right, utilities, discretionary. That would be your Tesla, your Amazon, Home Depot. Okay, and no laggard to speak of today. Okay, now I did say the ES is gapping up, so okay, strongest index pre-market is the Russell. Okay, let's move on. Let's look at the economic calendar today, which is not much. There's not much to see. All right, there's not much to see here. We have 8:30 building permits, housing starts. We had more Fed speak today, 8:45, Fed Barr, Fed Collins, Fed Goolsbee, Fed Daly, Fed Collins. Okay, let's go to lower impact. Let's see if there's anything else here. Did I do that? Yeah, there's really not much. Okay, not much news to speak of that way. Now, there is a couple things that I want to note. Now, Bank of America. Okay, they show these like right here. Okay, it says Bank of America citing data 23.5 billion inflow to stocks, 2.6 billion inflow to bonds, 20.5 billion inflow to cash, and 400 million outflow from gold. Okay, now it also says financials first inflow since July of 900 million. 5 weeks of inflows to materials is the longest streak since May 2022. Okay. Also, weekly inflow to stocks was the second largest of 2023. U.S. large caps saw the largest inflow since February 2022 at 23.7 billion. All right. Sometimes what I've noticed, and again, this is just a data point. Okay. Sometimes I've noticed when you have these record inflows. Okay. Sometimes I notice that the market pulls back. Okay. So if everybody's going long in stocks, you got liquidity there. Okay. This is a contrarian thing. All right. I'm not saying I just go short because of this, but I've noticed this before. Now, also, I told my friend Rosa that I do have alerts set up on the P call. It's $P call is the put call ratio. Okay. That was at an extreme level of call buying. No surprise, but I have a level set, and it showed me, like I usually have a level set and it says market reversal. Again, that's just, I don't just short because of it. It's just a little indication that there's extreme call buying. Okay. Just wanted to point that out. Okay. I wouldn't be shocked by a little liquidation break to get it to set up a year-end rally. Okay. Not a prediction. I'm just saying. Okay. Not a prediction. All right. That's really all I wanted to cover. I mean, OPEX today, like I said, what to expect today. Okay. I told you guys that earlier. We can move right in. There's not a lot to glean on daily charts, but we will go over them. All right, let's look at those. Okay. Big gap up, and then we're just kind of balancing, right? 450 is a big level, positive gamma level. So we're just balancing. Okay. You got the 9 EMA daily rising up. You have this swing low to the left, right? Swing high, I mean, right here. Possibly could be the next move to there, right? But we're just balancing. We're waiting for something. Okay, we're waiting for some kind of little bit of a catalyst. Maybe it's Nvidia's earnings next week. Okay, that's what's going on. We're at 451.80 right now. Okay, we are 451.80, way up here right now. So we're above not yesterday, the day before yesterday's high. We're gapping up. Okay, so let's see where that takes us. Okay, let's go with the Qs. All right, Qs, like I said, pre-market did hit all-time highs, but we haven't necessarily. Let's see what this high was. This high was 387.75. So we haven't hit all-time highs in the real-time trading hours, only pre-market. Okay, but we're just coiling here now. Remember, this is at all-time, close to all-time highs. All right. Like I said, I think I've said this before. I could see a quick push up, all-time highs, and most people will probably take some profits. We might pull back, but I don't know. Okay, we got support clearly at around 384, 383 and a half right here. Currently, we're at 386.50, so we are at yesterday's highs around. Well, no, we're gapping up. We're gapping up a little bit. Okay, so that's the Qs. All right. Now let's look at the 10-year yield. All right, let's go to that triple-headed monster and look at the 10-year yield that has broken that support that I've talked about. Okay, let's look at this here closer. Very important here. Okay. You look to the left. All right, let's see. This is the level around here. I'm saying that 4.48 was support. Okay, then it broke. Now we've created new support here, and we just broke that support. So now we're down here. Okay, so if we zoom back out, there's a level of resistance here that could act as support at 4.36. Okay, TLT is up right now 0.68%. All right, remember that's the inverse. So we're in a downtrend. Okay, if we can push more down, might get a little bounce here and hold here a little bit. 100-day moving average. Have to see, but this is very crucial, right? This is telling us they don't see the Fed hike. Inflation seems to be under control. This is not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is what bond market is saying. And, can we hit the 4.3, and then the next would be 4.2. The next would be 4.08, followed by 3.9. Okay, this would lift the bond market. Okay, this would fuel a rally. All right, so let's look at the VIX. The VIX, I mean, not much to glean at the VIX. There's just not much fear now. We're at 13, so you can see the chart. Okay, dollar with the yen. Okay, so look, we pushed up to here to 106. We couldn't hold it. We broke all the way down to 103.90. Now we're kind of holding the support. Next support would be 102, around 102, actually around here, 102.98, about 103. Okay, 200-day moving average is here. So weaker dollar, it's going to push the market higher. Okay, it's going to push commodities. I mean, not oil right now, but that will eventually help oil. Okay, and there's seasonality with oil, especially when the winter comes with heating oil. Okay, that's what I'm seeing there. Okay, so the bond market yields are coming down. All right, now if that keeps happening, shorts in the bond market are going to start puking up their positions as well. Okay, so that's that. All right, so now let's look at structure. Let's go to our trustee structure. What I said yesterday came to fruition. We got bought up right where I said we would get bought up. So I had a bigger demand zone here, but I just sweetened it up a little bit. But you can see basically it was, if you draw it across here, we haven't broken that. Okay, and I've talked about these single prints here. This gap, we have held that. It's been defended multiple times. Doesn't mean it can't break. That's what's been going on. Okay. Last week we have double distribution. We have this big, obviously the gap and single prints here, and then we have the large. The market's doing a good job. It's moved value higher. Okay, and it doesn't really have excess at the top here. Now, if we do put some excess in, like whoop, that could be enough, right? Then you would need to drive this market higher and move this value up, right? But if it can't do that, market might return back here. Okay. So we have the most traded price. You got like a little double prong here, but right now it's about 45.22. Most traded price of the week right here. This is also a big level as well, 45.15. So just this area right here. Right now we're above it. See, price is here, 45.38. So we're above these levels. It's the most traded price of the last week. Okay, you can see it's support right there in the overnight. Now you can see we have kind of like the top of this range here at 44.42, around 45.37. So we're at the highs, okay, of this range. What do? Do we break out? Do we do this? Do we come back in? Do we just hold here and do we do another leg higher? I don't know. Okay, we're in supply right now. Okay, so let's look at the structures. Okay, so we have yesterday's low, yesterday's high. Okay, we pushed down to 45.01. Okay, closed at the highs right there. So that's where the overnights opened, right? So if I'm looking at this, okay, if we're looking at this together, it is a little ripe for a fade or a reversal. off an initial move higher right now. Okay, and let me explain. I'll explain to you. Okay, so let's look at yesterday. So, and I'll show you value, what it means. Okay, so these little highlighted volume profile right here is value. That's 70% of the trade of yesterday. So now we know we couldn't go lower, and 70% of the trade was done in this area, right? We closed right here. Okay, so that's one. So you know from this spot, everybody's long. Okay, now here's your overnight low. Everybody's long overnight. 100% net long. And you're at the top of the range. And you're at the top of the bracket. Okay? This is not an easy setup. It's not. You have to be patient and quick. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but that's what it is. Okay, so what do we have? We have a weak low here. Why? Confluence. Okay, so you have right here, what do we have? Overnight low. Now look at that. The most traded price of the overnight is at these lows. So this is really setting up nicely. Okay, so let's go over why I'm saying this. Okay, this doesn't mean it has to happen. I'm just saying probability wise. Okay, so how I speak in probabilities. So you got longs here, longs here. Okay, top of the range. Most traded price of the overnight is here. Most traded price of the week is here, and the close of yesterday. So this area is the spot where the market needs to defend. Buyers need to defend this area. If they don't, what's going to happen is if you could see something like this, push up, people take profit, higher low, higher low. Now, remember, this is the most traded price of the week and the overnight, and it's the overnight low, and it was the close. Most traded price of the week, right? So if we do something like this, whoop, come under that, you're going to flush these overnights. Now you're going to put everybody who traded yesterday in danger, and you could traverse the range. Okay, go down to the here, and then the test again would be the bottom of this bracket, which is the gap, and you can touch this poor structure here, and you could cascade down and fill this gap. Okay, now this could be defended again, but this is the scenario. So let's just go into scenarios here. Okay, I hope everybody understands what I'm saying. That's why I love looking at the market profile, volume profile. It just puts things so clear. All right, so now let's go with that bearish scenario. Okay, because I'm saying it's ripe for a reversal. Okay, I don't want a long up here. Okay, so what do we need to see? You're at the top of this range. You're gapping higher. Okay, so we do have to talk about one thing is the gap rules, right? So this would be a gap fill right here. Okay, that even puts more weight on what I said earlier. Okay, so how do we look at the gap? We're gapping up, right? We look at it a couple ways. The most bullish is a gap and go, right? If we just take off and we go higher. Okay, second is a pullback, but we don't fill the gap and we then take off. Okay, third is if we fill the gap, but that's the point that people take profit and buy, and you could go like this. Okay, but now we're talking about what if we go back into range and we fill the gap. So if we do this, come in, now you're going to hurt all these overnight longs. You could if we come up and go through the open, possibly it could be a short. All right, then you're going to put all these traders who got long overnight on notice. And if you fill the gap, go back into range and hold under this most traded price, we could traverse the range and definitely go to the bottom of the range. And then here's the test. You're either going to bounce, but if this is a bearish scenario, you could finally fill this gap and go to this low here in that demand zone. Okay. Okay, let's talk about the bullish scenario. Bullish scenario is obviously you can gap and go. That's one. Okay, we just talked about the other two things. Obviously, you could not fill the gap and go higher, right? We talked about this. You can fill the gap. Now, when you fill the gap and you bounce, that's because I said this has to be defended. It's the most traded price of the week. It's the overnight low. It's the close. It's the overnight VPOC. And this could, and this could even dip below a little bit. And if it recovers, that is a long, right? Also, if we traverse and you're in balance, what happens is this balance area low down here, its demand zone has been defended multiple times, can get bought up, right? You could try to fill this gap in these single prints, and sellers can't make anything happen. Well, we're going to go back up and test this area. It could balance here. Okay, that's it. That's the scenarios. Okay. Now, let's look at the NASDAQ together. That was ES scenarios. Now, we could talk about the NASDAQ. Okay. Hope everybody's following so far. All right. Let's look at structure together. Let's look at structure together. What do we have here? We have another double distribution right here with the CPI print, and then that's done its job and brought value higher, right? Little node here and a little bit of excess. Okay, so you can see the NASDAQ kind of made its move higher, and now it's building value here, right? And it's right now not gapping. Okay, so let's expand this so I can make it a little bigger here. Okay. Now, we have our most traded price, 158.70, right here. Happens to be most traded price of yesterday. So we have the same setup, guys. It's just that this is not gapping up, okay? Not exactly the same. Not exactly, okay? Not exactly. All right, NASDAQ's a little weaker. It's in supply right now. It actually has a poor high and a poor low. Basically a double bottom at the top and the bottom. So susceptible to getting corrected, okay? So let's look at this. This is not as good of a setup as the fade because we're almost at the midpoint of the overnight, all right? And we're not 100% long in the NASDAQ. Look, it's right here. So we have this much short to this much long. It's a little more balanced. So the ES, I like it better for that fade that I was talking about. Okay, now, however, let's look at this poor low in the overnight right here. Where is that poor low at? Right at the most traded price of yesterday, right at the most traded price of the week. That is weak. Okay, you have longs from here. You have value area from yesterday all in here. 70% of the trading happened there. This is very susceptible. Okay, this is the line in the sand today. Okay, if this breaks and holds, you are going to test the lows of this bracket. You're going to test the single prints and the gap. Okay, now again, it could come down here and it could bounce. That's totally normal. We keep in balance. But it also could really fall apart, and then you get the liquidation break that the market probably needs to go higher. Okay, so whenever you get, let me explain that really quickly. Whenever you get, like, say if we did this and we get a quick move down, like boom, and we go down to this, right? Generally, a liquidation break like that, it just resets the market. And what happens if we bounce from here, right? What did it do? It removes sellers from the market. So then it makes it easier for the market to do that. Okay? I didn't understand that at first when I first learned that, but it actually strengthens the market. Okay? So let's talk about the scenarios. It's going to be very similar. Okay? So in this one, let's go with the bullish case. So we're not gapping here. This is just the area that you need to defend if you're a bull. You need to defend this area. It's the bottom line. And defending could mean come in here, you defend it like that. Could mean even you slip below, but then a very quick recovery and go up like that. So that's the area you need to defend. Okay? Very easy. Now, also you got the bottom of the bracket, this demand zone that's held up, right? This demand zone has held up. So we could do what I said, break that weak low, come into here, test this gap, even if we dip in there, but then we start recovering, well, guess what? We're going to go back here, and we could balance for the rest of the session, or we just move back to here. Okay? That is bull scenarios. Bearish. Okay? We already got what I just said, right? So we're down here now. This is already being susceptible down here in the NASDAQ. So, but again, it could possibly get a little, if you open, you could possibly get a little move up into this supply, test that overnight high, pop up to here, get lower high, right? This is the area right here. I said bulls need to defend it, but if they don't, and you go whoop, and you hold, try and fail, we're going to test these lows here. This is the gap, top of the gap. This is the bottom of that demand zone that's been tested multiple times. Like I said, we could traverse it. Boom. Go all the way down here to about from 156. Right? This is bearish. This is ultimate bearish. Obviously, we can come down here and we can then go back up too. So that's what I'm looking at today. Very simple. It is OPEX. So if there's going to be volatility, a lot of money is going to come off the books and expire. Okay. The pinning trade, I'll maybe show you guys. Let's see here. We'll look at one here. Let's look at Apple together. Let's look at Apple. Okay. So, Apple. If you look at this gamma exposure chart, 190 is the largest gamma for Apple. Okay. Today, you could get moves around up to 191, one down to 199, but check Apple out at the end of the day and see if it pins around 190. I've seen it happen multiple times. Okay. I've seen it happen multiple times. Now, I mentioned Roblox, right? Let's look at Roblox. Roblox, I believe, would be 39, but I just want to make sure here. So we'll look at Roblox real quick, and that should be 39. Should be the largest gamma strike. Yep. See that large gamma? Okay. And then that's positive gamma, 39. See how price is right here, 39.23. Watch Roblox pin at 39. Could go up to 40, could go down to 38, but watch at the close. Okay. Again, I'm not predicting it. I'm just saying that's what happens with operations expiration. Okay. All right. That is it for me. Everybody have a good weekend. Stay green. Stay patient. Right. Today, I wouldn't be a fan of trading later in the day. The pinning thing, if you want to try the butterfly, again, I'm not a financial advisor, don't follow, but I might throw one out there. I'm not sure. Okay. But wish everybody good luck today. Have a good weekend. I'll see you guys next week.